Ugh. Hey guys, welcome to Strasburg Steve. Today, regrettably, we are gonna be talking about the whole Sandro Tonali and Fagioli as well, and Nicola Zaniolo. This whole debacle with the Italian brothers making some bets. So just a really annoying and disappointing situation all around. But I did want to bring in bring in people. So Kevin, big up yourself, bro. How you doing? Thanks for coming on.
It's going. Happy Tuesday or Wednesday, sorry. But yeah, it's a
Good
big
Wednesday.
sports it's a big sports day for the betting scene, huh? I never thought never thought professional athletes would be this involved in betting, but here we are.
Bro, it's unbelievable, honestly. But we'll dig into it. Big up everybody in the comments. Andy, what's going on? Sebastian. Um, Yeah, I mean, let's just dig right into it. Smash the likes also as well, people. But yeah, let's just dig in right to it. So, I mean, this all started about I think about 2 weeks ago, where I heard about Fagioli of Juventus, one of their youngsters. He got dinged up. He was under investigation initially, and then it came one after another, and then Tonali's name came up in it, and all this all this bullshit, and then also Nicola Zaniolo apparently involved, and apparently Tonali's the ringleader in all this, and it's just like, bro, it's honestly fuckeries. So the latest is that apparently Sandro Tonali, he did admit it. It's been in Italian football TV here and from Gazzetta in Italy. It has been revealed that Tonali bet on AC Milan games where he wasn't involved is facing a lengthy suspension. Um, I'm trying to think if there's anything else like lately breaking news or anything, but yeah, it's honestly it's just fucking infuriating to be honest. But yeah, so that's where it is right now.
So just going
Obviously,
off that point right there,
yeah,
Steve, what do you
yeah, go on.
what do you think? Just so we don't miss the topic, what do you think right there that it even like as a bystander and on the bench or even being injured that he bet on his own players and own teammates to then try and win or lose when he was on that team? I just think right there it's not even about the betting there. That is about like all right, say if it was a
And
Milan
integrity.
derby. Yeah, it's the integrity of the sport of like
Yes.
is he saying to his players go out there and try your hardest, or did I just put 4,000 like euros to go for you to score the first goal or for you to get the first yellow card? So no one knows the bets. That's the issue that like why this is such a huge deal because they're never going to break the bets down of what he did. It's the issue of no
Oh
one
no, they
knows.
can. They can definitely find out what
Yeah,
he bet on.
but we're not gonna. It's never gonna be released. Like we have no idea
Oh
what
yeah,
Ivan did.
well, really? Because I
No, well,
don't did. I just don't think in this day of it, Kevin, personally, I don't think in this day of age you can keep that stuff quiet. Someone's gonna leak it.
oh yeah, yeah,
Someone.
they're gonna leak it. But right now, it's
We
people make
don't
these
know. Right.
opinions. It's like yeah, if it's as simple as like a money line of AC Milan winning
Elon to
against
win.
Milan to win, yeah, it's completely yes and no. But if it is the down deep yellow card in 65th minute to 92 minutes, because I saw one thing on Twitter and I'll try and find it right while we're live, but it was like someone
Right.
leaked that he had a 92-minute yellow card in a derby and he uh he didn't wasn't carded. He got subbed off in the 91st
You
and then
see,
time wasted to get it. So
was that the Champions League semifinal or
I think that was
was
last
that the
year.
Champions League final
I think
last
it was
year? Or was it in the
before.
league game?
Yeah, it was a league game, I think. So let me try and find that while we're live here. But it's it's the issue of that. So
No, bro, it's fucked. It's completely fucked. Like, and my overall point of this is that I'm just so angry and disappointed that someone someone like him in his position, his privileged position, a very very a high profile footballer, a young footballer with a whole career out of him, he is potentially, funnily enough, gambling it away by making this fucking choice, bro. What the fuck?
Yeah.
But I'm not angry at Tonali the person. I'm angry about what he did because this is very disappointing. And also, you're fucking with the integrity of the sport. You're fucking with the integrity of the sport, and that's a big no-no. Like, it's not, bro. There's not a fucking athlete out there that doesn't know that. Oh, I can't do sports betting. Everyone knows.
the
It's
main
an
thing going off of
unwritten
that though,
rule that everyone knows about.
the main thing about this though is everyone knows when you're growing up playing sports, you have a coaching team around you, you have people you trust, right? So to this day, everyone in sports has a team around them that they were before famous and before they're professional athletes. And growing
Yeah,
up, you have people you trust around you. There's so many people in this world right now that when they get famous, they get more people involved. Why do those people not help them? And again, I don't want to get into it too early into the show, but this whole mental health thing compared to other people, yes, it's a huge, huge issue.
Oh, I fucking glitched out. I think you froze, Kevin. Did Kevin freeze? Hold up. Hey, big up Harold in the comments. Sorry, people. My camera's doing the thing again. I forgot that I had to plug in my mic. Kevin, did you freeze? I think Kevin froze. I'll big up Harold, by the way. Out driving, I'll be listening. Yeah, shout out Harold, bro. Yeah, I think Kevin froze. Yeah, he definitely froze. He definitely froze. No, but it's it's just so goddamn infuriating because it's like Andy said, he knew the rules, broke them. He has to take the punishment. Hopefully that will be the thing to get him help. Reports are true as a gambling problem. Bro, exactly. Like, I'm not mad that he has a gambling problem. We all have fucking problems. We're humans. I get that. But out of all the fucking problems, Tonali, that you could have had and that you didn't get help for immediately and realized I should not fucking do this because I'm a pro athlete. I cannot risk my career. I cannot risk my career for this addiction. I need to battle through this. I need to get help, rehab, whatever. And to do it on sports betting specifically. If he had a gambling problem, if he had a gambling problem in terms of like, okay, I go to the casino too much and I play blackjack too much, which is also apparently what he did as well. Which is apparently what he does as well, right? Like the illegal blackjack site, which is again a sign of he knows he's doing something wrong. He knows because no one does something illegally. Look at the it's like, bro, what the fuck? Andy, I'll send you the link, by the way. Just give me 2 seconds here. I'm fucking infuriated. I can't lie. I need your commentary, Andy, if you can join. And then there's a whole other rant that I gotta go on as well. He's potentially missing exactly. This is the other thing. He's potentially missing Newcastle United history. We could be doing some crazy things. I'm not saying we will, but it's just so foolish. I think it's just so foolish and just sad, to be honest. I have empathy for him because in terms of okay, I'm gonna tell y'all something, and I've been saying this everywhere I've been with chats and stuff like that because I don't mind talking about whatever, right? About myself. Like, okay, I can empathize with Sandro Tonali because Kevin's back and Andy's in the building too. What's
Sorry,
up,
my internet just cut out.
Kevin?
No, just to
My
finish my
audio
point.
on?
Sorry if you
Working?
continued, but like before my internet cut out, the main thing I was trying to say
You
is,
there?
yeah, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
My
like, what
thing
else?
fucked up or no?
Steve, can you hear me?
Hold on. 2 seconds. What the fuck? Why can I not hear you guys? Oh, that's why the output. Jesus,
You have
sorry.
a moment, Steve.
The output, the output was going to my speaker, which is obviously not how it was supposed to work. But what's up, Kevin and Andy? How are you guys?
No, just going from my my previous point
Oh,
before
yeah,
my
yeah.
internet cut out. Sorry, yeah. What I was just saying, Andy. Pleasure to meet you as well. But the main thing is these people and these athletes around the world, no matter what sport you're in, have a group that you trust. Before you were
Yes.
famous, before you were athletes, you trust these people, and these are your ride or die people that you don't like. Even if a huge issue comes up, you'll probably stand by them. Why do these individuals not even think about saying, "Hey, I see you on Betty app or Betty Power or sports betting or any of
Yeah.
those things here in America or around the world.
Yeah.
Stop there. Like just stop there when you have it. This isn't even about any mind power. This isn't even about games and you're like playing with your friends. This is about your career choices to then end your career early.
Yeah.
Tonali did not say in all these interviews that he's been in, saying, "Hey, no one tried to help me." He's just saying, "I have an addiction." All right, we
Yeah.
get that, but before the addiction starts, you usually are spotted by your friends, and your friends are saying, "Hey, you should stop that," or "You should. I'm going to give you advice here, and maybe you should listen." So let's talk about that there. Like, what do you think their friend? Like, what do you think his people around him in his party? Like, what do you think they even tried?
Well, clearly his friends Zaniolo and Fagioli, they were on board with it too, because
Threw
they
him under the bus as well.
huh?
They've thrown him under the bus as well.
Yeah, fucking snitches. Honestly, it's like they
Yeah, I
all
mean,
did wrong. It's honestly, go on, Andy. Go on.
you've got to have a look at the positives. Well, I say there's not much of a positive situation, but at least they haven't tried. They haven't forced the FA to go into a massive investigation to get to the facts.
Right, he came
you know,
clean immediately. Yeah,
They've cooperated with the relative authorities, so hopefully that will go in their favour. But I mean, what a silly mistake. I mean, like you said, you've got a privileged life. And if it is a gambling addiction, we all know an addiction is an illness. Hopefully, he'll get the help that he needs. But I think you've also got to look at it. He's come to a foreign country. If he has been gambling since he came here, as you say, friends normally spot these things. His friends really weren't at the club when he first came, so I'm sure teammates have missed them signs because they don't know who Tonali is really when he
Yeah,
first
but
came to the
Andy,
club.
just so you know, like this isn't just Newcastle days. This is AC Milan days as well. Like
because he bet on Milan when he was not involved in the squad.
it's just like there's some things, yes, like, and we all feel bad for illnesses and addictions, right? It's a huge issue within the whole world that people are trying to solve and why they're professionals that do this. But there's one major thing, like what Steve said when he started the show, it's the integrity of the sport. I don't care if you're on the bench. I don't care if you're injured. I don't care if you're in Dubai when your team is in Newcastle and you have a home match against Sheffield and you have that 4,000 pounds on the yellow card in the 60th minute. Are these players even trying? Are these players even doing the same thing because they know and they figured out how you have it? It's that right there that I just can't get behind. That it has to be punished in a very serious way so this stops. It's not going off this issue or the illness. It's about the integrity of these athletes that need to make sure they can't be allowed to do this.
People pay proper fucking money to watch on TV even. How much do we all spend combined?
Oh, here in America, Steve, you know this. We have 19 or 6 different apps just for the 2 leagues that we follow the most. It's like this is ridiculous. And again, Andy, over there overseas in the UK, it's you can't even watch some of the games because of the 3 p.m. deadline.
And they pay $90 regardless, though.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous over here. You could be paying well over £100 a month, and you still can't watch the 3 o'clock kickoffs.
It's fucking pathetic. And that's the thing. It's like we pay so much money, we devote so much time. We want the sport to be at its purest form because we deserve it, and the sport deserves it. Like we're not fucking around here, and it's just like.
I think it's such a shame, though, Steve, that I mean the Champions League campaign as it stands looks as if we do look as if we're a strong team in that form. We could get out of the group stage. And I do suspect that Tonali's going to be banned for that period. So what a period of Newcastle's history to be missing out on when you're such a big marquee signing for such a silly mistake. Let's be honest.
It's not a mistake, though, Andy. It's well, actually,
It is. He still made the choice. He still made the choice to put a bet on or not. And
repeated bad decisions. A mistake is dropping my phone and it's broken. Like that's a mistake. That's clumsy.
a case of misjudgment, then let's say.
If I throw my phone across the parking lot and it breaks, that's not a mistake. That's my bad choice. So it's like it's not even just a mistake. It's like and also if you're using illegal websites, why didn't you just use the legal ones? Because you knew you weren't supposed to. You knew that the illegal sites wouldn't let your identity be known. That's why they're illegal. And that's why you did it, because he knew he would be fucked if he got caught. So that's why he used the illegal one. But silly him, because in this technological world we live in, everything gets found out eventually. Everything. You're on video, you're on phone, you're on audio, you're on internet history. Someone knows.
Let's bring it back then to this. If we're talking about the illegal betting sites, right? Then the next topic is he introduced it to teammates. He introduced it to fellow friends that are also professional athletes. Comparing it to the most recent story, Ivan Toney. Yes, he has hundreds of bets, but he was alone. He didn't tell anyone to do it. He just said, "Look, I'm going to do it illegally. I'll take the consequences when they're there." Tonali said, "Here, look, I'm making a killing on the field and off the field with this app.
Right.
Join in and do it." That has to be a huge factor on when this actual suspension happens. Is he introduced it to people and they got him addicted? And again, that's the issue as well. It's not just one person that's doing it. It's one teammate that's now introduced it to plenty of other teammates that didn't come out. Yeah, yes, one for Steve. What's the other guy's name? Starts with F. Just
Fagioli.
Fagioli. Yeah. Like he's one person that came out. There's plenty of others, man. It's
Zaniolo.
and it's not just, and it's just like they don't want to come out yet because they don't want to say that they did it, and they don't want to make sure they get suspended. But like, if you do, like again, going back to our original point, it's the integrity of the sport. It's just not good.
And unfortunately, the people that are going to suffer the most are the people that are innocent in this, and this is the fans. You know, Newcastle's spent massive £60 million. A lot of faith's been put in them by the chairman, the owners, and unfortunately, due to like we say, it's us that's going to suffer, because it could be the difference of us losing a game or not, getting to the next round of the Champions League. So it's such a shame that it's going to be the fans ultimately, however long he's going to be out for.
And also, it's also the ones that are losing out is, like you commented earlier, Andy, it's the fucking owners that paid 60-odd million.
Now they're going to have to dip back into the market, and that's going to affect with further again for FFP.
I mean, I think we were going to probably look at midfield anyways, but...
Yeah, but they've got no other choice now.
You're right now in terms of, and Matt, will Tonali miss the Euros? It depends when the ban comes out.
Yeah, I suspect he'll miss the Euros. If the other guy's getting, 8 months?
Yeah.
Well, Ivan Toney is 8 months, yes.
I'm assuming it's a FIFA ban.
This is going to be... Well, going off back to your point, though, Andy, it's when does the FA get actually involved in this? It's because it won't be...
though? That's the interesting.
Well, it has to be the English for just club, and then depending on when the Italian FA comes in as well, that's another issue as well. Because the Euros are this summer, but if the Newcastle put in that statement today on social media, but if that statement is put out and then the FA is like, "Oh, we're gonna wait until because he's comprehending with the authorities and everything." Yeah, but that is not an excuse to say this has to be hit fast and quickly and get done, and kind of make a decision before it gets crucial. Because just like what Matt was saying earlier in the chat, it's right. I just pulled up his stats. He has 7 starts for Newcastle this year, 1 goal, and 2 starts for the Champions League and 1 start in the EFL Cup.
He's had three.
That's
Yeah.
That's 10 starts for Newcastle this year.
Yeah.
Completing 646 minutes.
Yeah.
He is a game changer for Newcastle. When you guys saw Joe Linton play, and I don't know how Eddie Howe got that guy playing good football again, but Joe Linton is
Good
nowhere
coaching.
it's just nowhere compared to the quality of Tonali's ball possession, learning, like opening the
Yeah, he
field.
doesn't have the skill set of
It's the
Tonali. It's a
where
different, yeah.
the one thing Tonali, yes, if he doesn't have the GA and the assist, he has one goal this year, but it's the way of opening the space for Bruno Guimaraes to run into those pockets of space to then open the field. That's what he is so good at, and you will desperately miss him if he's out for a year or two. And like we were saying, is if the board went up and said, yeah, we're gonna spend 60 million euros and sign this player, and didn't do their due diligence, like, and obviously you have to say as a player, like, look, I have this behind me, like, I have this may come up, because a lot of players will do that nowadays. A lot of players will say my injuries aren't good. Look at some of the signings right now that are falling through because they are clearly that their injury record isn't good enough. This is an injury record, but this is something that's going to resist them from playing for 2 years or 1 year. So it has to come up to the staff that did something, but it's just not looking good, because if he misses the Euros and he's out for 2 years for Newcastle, and his contract is up until, when is his contract? He signed a 5 years, so it's 2 years left, and he's going to try and leave. If he doesn't play for 3 years for Newcastle, you think they're going to want to try sign him for a new contract?
Oh, it'll be a lost cause at that point if you don't play for 2 years of, especially at this age.
Yeah.
To back up what you've just said there as well, Kevin, there's the one thing that we don't have massive amounts of in the squad is Champions League experience. Tonali has got that. Semi-final Champions League.
You saw him when you saw him when you guys played PSG. He ran in the middle of the park, and it's as soon as you see these players do this, and then they go out, and it's like, man, it's a blow, because yes, I'm a rival fan and I'm on the show, but it's a huge thing. It's like, guys, you have to realize the integrity of the sport is a huge thing for these players. Because if you see, I don't know, when just like if United and Sheffield, right, this weekend for the United game, as a United fan, if a Sheffield player goes out there and says they bet on a Rasmus Højlund goal in the first 15 minutes, you think those center backs are going to play defense? No.
Exactly.
What if Tonali said, I want an own goal? Or what if I want a mistake?
Yeah.
Or what, like,
detriment of your fucking team.
The entire team is not going the entire team is not going to trust you than playing that sport. That's my main thing. Even if it
that's what I'm sorry, Kevin. I was just
go for it. Yeah, you go for it.
I blurt out shit all the time. That's what I'm really worried about. And same thing applies to Ivan Toney. This is where you can have a parallel. Can you trust them as teammates? That's a big question now. I don't know how I would. I'm not a pro footballer, so I can't say how I'd feel because I'm not really in that scenario. But if I had to just fake it and try to, play, pretend, and guess, I would.
Sorry, Steve. Let's take Kevin's scenario that he just said there before. Let's say Tonali does get a 2-year ban. He's got, a year left on his deal at that point. Are Newcastle then going to offer another £200,000 a week, give or take a few quid, for another 4-year deal when they know that there's a potential risk that this could happen again?
No.
That's a massive investment in somebody.
And just going off of that is playing devil's advocate. What is stopping him doing it right now? How do you know that he's not? And look, yes, obviously there's the bookies and all the illegal stuff, but what is stopping him giving his friend £1,000 a month?
Correct.
Like what?
Using him a proxy.
Yeah, I know, but obviously that's illegal as well. But he got caught now because he was using his name, using his email, and with the illegal websites.
His
but
phone or whatever laptop.
Yeah, but what's stopping him trying to do this on a proxy in a third-party system when he's banned and no one knows, and he's he's training in Dubai to stay fit. That's the main thing. Is like, I've been an athlete for a long time, and when I tell you that if I don't trust a teammate, I'm telling that right to my coach, and I'm saying, hey, there's something going on here. He's not fighting hard enough. He's just not running. He's just not training.
Benzema and Vinny Jr.
And
Those years ago when they played Borussia Mönchengladbach in that Champions League game, Benzema said Vinny's playing against us.
And now look what they did. It's a bit different now, but it all comes to a stage of like, guys, you gotta make sure it's the integrity. But yeah.
And the other thing is that I'm getting sick of hearing. I'm really honestly sick of it. When people are trying to say, oh, this is an addiction, it's a disease, it's not his choice. I don't want him to be absolved of responsibility. That's what it sounds like to me.
And I was waiting for this point to bring it up. Yes, just to make sure, audience, illness, mental addictions are very, very, very important, and they definitely need. If you do have those, please reach out for help, and people around you will hopefully help you. But there's another professional athlete that did this last year. His name's Ivan Toney. Where was this? Where was this information that everything's fine? He's not an issue. There's an echo from someone, just so you know.
It might be me. Hold up.
But no, it's just there's this big thing that's like, guys, it's one athlete, and then on Newcastle that does it, and there's another athlete on Brentford that did it, and he was just ridiculed. He was called tons of racial slurs and all this, and you should never do this, and why is he getting away with only a small ban? And now Tonali comes out and he uses his Italian teammates, and it's like, oh, it's a mental addiction. It's rough. They did the exact same thing, but guess what? It's different people and different worlds.
That's just the media. This is the British media doing some fucking. Go on, Andy.
I think what we've also got to remember, yes, okay, there is an athlete, and athletes make mistakes, but we've also got to take into account all human beings. If I had the wealth that kid's got, it's 21, 22-year-old, I'd probably make mistakes as well. You know, it's whether it be, you know, getting into a fight in a bar and the news getting it, or it's just unfortunate that it's going to be something that's going to carry a ban.
I can understand that, because a bar fight doesn't mean the end of your career.
Correct.
I know, Kevin knows, everyone in the chat knows, Tonali himself knows, pro athletes are not allowed to gamble in that do sports betting. It's a big no-no. Kevin, you'll know about Pete Rose, legendary baseball player. He bet against his own team and had hundreds of it. Major League Baseball gave him a lifetime ban. And
look at snooker. Stephen Lee made 2 bets, professional snooker player. He got a ban up until he was 50-year-old. He'll never play professional snooker ever again. He was one of the best players in the world. He was in the top 8 in the world when he got banned. So
that's the other side of it too. It's like, I think Tonali's going to be lucky that it's 3 max. To be in a screwed up way, he's lucky, because it's like, I've seen guys with sports betting that it's way worse, way more harsh. And I think it, honestly, I wouldn't mind if it was more harsh, to be honest, because then it sets a tone for other players. If let's say some other Italians have some other players in the lower leagues of Italy, Serie D, they have gambling problems. It'll send a message to them that if they ever somehow get to the crop, rise to the cream of the crop, they need to either come clean immediately, they need to stop, they need to get help.
My guess will be, Steve, that whatever the ban, there'll be conditions on it that he has to attend certain Gamblers Anonymouses and, you know, potentially go to rehab or anything like that. If he doesn't comply with them, then he'll probably get a lengthier ban, or there'll be penalties to be paid. I think the good thing is that he's come out and admitted that he's got a problem. So I think anyone that's an addict, that is the first big stepping stone. You've got to admit that you've got an issue first. I think it's a lot easier to admit it when you've been caught red-handed, but hopefully that's the sign of that the guy's got some character and he's going to take the punishment like a man and try and get over it.
Yeah, I totally agree. The first step of getting over one of these things is admitting you have it. But
yeah,
just to we're all on the same page, and that's good to hear. But the main thing, I guess, now for you Newcastle supporters, who is going to take this? So say, all right, best option, he gets an 8-month to 1-year ban. Worst option,
I would take that immediately. If it's eight months, I think that's a fucking miracle.
Well, it's the same thing that the other gambler, Ivan Tony.
Tony, yeah.
So
and Fagioli, by the way, got a 7-month ban.
yeah. So okay, best scenario. Let's just hear your opinions now.
Yeah.
8-month ban. He's now can't play in the Prem, can't play in any cup competitions, and never obviously your first run in the Champions League for 20 years.
Right.
And are you guys going to then blame him if your supporter if your team starts going in a full down cycle and because he is a pivotal point, or is it now going to blame on the actual team that's on the field?
I'll tackle this first, Andy, in saying that if he is that crucial to our team, we're not that good of a team. It's just like Chelsea with Nkunku. They're struggling to score. They're struggling to, create, finish, whatever. And the Chelsea fans are saying it's because of Nkunku. Well, then you aren't that good of a team if all your hopes are pinned on one man. So if we're that reliant on Tonali, which I don't think we are, I think he's a very good player, obviously, but he's not. We're not a one-man team.
No.
But no, Newcastle are a team or a squad. So no, I would not blame him.
I think we could definitely point and say that there's going to be games where he would have made a difference,
sure.
Without a doubt. I think the good thing is that we've had is he's came into the side and we're still. Joe Linton's been in and out since the start of the season. In my opinion, Joe Linton's the first midfielder picked in our team. I know Bruno's the star player, but I think Joe Linton.
I think Bruno's a bigger name, but that's my opinion.
Yeah, bigger name.
No, I totally agree with you. I totally agree. I just think the flexibility that Joe Linton gives you and the enforcement in midfield. Let's say you get an injury in midfield. If he's playing out on the left, you bring him into the midfield. You can't do that with Bruno. We've also got Joe Willock to come back. We've got to remember how Joe Willock had a good end to last season, and it's been such a shame that his momentum hasn't been able to carry this season. I totally agree with Steve, and I agree with you, Kevin. You can't. Yes, okay, we can point the finger, but I don't think any true fan's going to say Tonali's the reason that we got knocked out of the Champions League, or let's say we get to another Carling Cup final, or whatever it be.
Yeah.
Eddie Howe, I think, doesn't set his teams that way to rely upon one person. Anyways, it's all based on the team pressing as one. Cemented by the PSG performance. Yes, Tonali was fantastic in that game. But I think everyone was an 8, 9 out of 10.
Oh yeah, you guys performed magnificent last year.
And they can use this. Eddie can use this with the squad and say, okay, other people that weren't possibly going to be big, massive parts in this season are now going to have to step up.
Yeah. Which is what we've done the whole time under Eddie Howe. So it's kind of like business as usual. Yeah, the circumstance sucks, but it sucks. Now, big up, Lou. I want to address this because I don't want to sound like a fucking Interista on Twitter trying to find the loophole and stuff. Here's the thing. I don't think AC Milan knew about it because if you remember correctly, we came to them and we blew them out of the water with the deal. We gave them a very good price for the player. They needed to reinvest for their squad. So I don't know. There will be an investigation into it. But just like Fagioli, they will investigate, and he didn't even get sold. He's still a Juve player, but they will want to know who knew about Fagioli's addiction and who didn't. Big up Andon, my Macedonian Milan brother. What's going on? I was just gonna. It's perfect timing actually, because me and you, Andon, were speaking about this on WhatsApp earlier. I don't think I'm not pinning this on AC Milan until it's proven that it is.
Yeah.
Because it seems, like you said, it seems so silly that they would risk their reputation and the club's reputation if they knew about him having a gambling addiction, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's a very complicated situation where anything can be true. I'm not saying they didn't know. I'm not saying that they did know. But going on pure logic, for example, if the management knew about this, and let's say because the previous management were Maldini and Massara, and they didn't want to sell Tonali. So even in that case, if they knew, they are putting Milan at risk, keeping a player and not reporting that. Because you cannot hide this. but in case of the new management for Lani Moncada, in case they knew and they still pulled off the sale, which was an excellent sale for the price paid for the player that we
Exactly.
sold, it's an excellent financial. But
Yeah.
in case they knew, it's obvious that it's gonna be found out sometimes because you cannot hide those kind of stuff, especially when it comes to addictions. Addicts always, that's what addicts do best. They screw up. So
Yeah.
in that case, if they knew and sell a player for that high of a price, first of all, Newcastle can sue them. They can win them on court. It can
Yeah.
have financial repercussion and also sporting repercussion. Because, for example, yeah, he
Yeah.
did bet on Milan. If he influenced on the games he played, and especially, for example, luckily he didn't bet on Milan losing games. He bet on Milan winning games. For example, in case he betted on games that Milan lost and he had some influence in that, that can be really catastrophic for the club at whole. And especially, for example, as I said, it's not about the money because Newcastle has it. It has a lot of it. They're not damaged in financial. Yeah, they're damaged in financially, but it's not that it will leave a stain on the club. But what's very important, if Milan knew about this and they sold the player, what club tomorrow will have transfer deals with Milan? It leaves a big stain on the club. Nobody will want to buy players. Nobody will want to negotiate even for sales or to sell them a player because
Yeah.
they don't want to be associated with that kind of a club. Based on that, I think they didn't know, but it's also
Yeah.
possible that
Because
they
it
knew
because
and so
it seems so stupid that they would know about it and decide to sell because there's so much the risk and reward. Basically,
If
it would make no sense for them to
if
lie about
AC Milan
I've
knew,
got to go, lads. Take care, anyways. Thank you,
Andy,
everyone,
pleasure.
for watching.
it.
Take care,
Andy,
guys.
peace out. Peace out. Kevin, what were you gonna say?
If
Sorry.
AC Milan knew, and Andon, you can maybe help me out here. If AC Milan knew that Tonali was a gambler and he posted bets and tried to get a financial gain from him on that team, there would be massive lawsuits right now if that was
Mm,
the case. This isn't like I see
yeah,
people in the comments like Gunner and Lewis that the this entire thing would be 10 times bigger because you cannot as a law contract signing say you are signing off for this player to move to Newcastle from Milan and know that there's an illegal transaction behind it and not share that information because that contract somewhere says definitely that
yeah,
I'm giving you all the information we know. So the issue is, as we both are all here on this panel, is
yeah.
no one knew until it was found out by the um, police officer. No one knew,
Yeah.
and until he released and he said, "This is what I'm doing." So
Yeah.
that's the issue.
I mean, and the thing is, they'll investigate it. Like everyone, Galatasaray will be investigated because Zaniolo was there recently. Aston Villa will be investigated to see if they knew anything about Zaniolo's thing. AC Milan will be investigated. Not and this it's not even deep, but if they find something, they will go deep in on it. So all will
yeah,
be unveiled because honestly, and again, like I said earlier, we live in way too technologically freakish of
Everything's IP addressed. Everything is going to be IP addressed. If
yeah,
Tonali was in if Tonali was in South London and he when he before his move to Newcastle, if he went to I don't know where the actual corporate office for Newcastle are, but say if they're in London and he was betting on a Newcastle game before he even moved there, that's illegal. You can't even bet on any
yeah,
professional sport ever. If you are a professional athlete
you're
and you're claimed
proactive.
under an FA, you can't do that. So it doesn't matter what. It's also that's the main thing. I know we brought it up a lot. Is about if integrity for Milan or Newcastle.
Yeah.
If he bet on, I don't know, an NBA playoff, you can't do that. So that's the issue that people don't get.
Because
You can't bet a single sport at all if it's a
no, no,
professional
no.
athlete.
Listen. I think he can bet on other sports, not just the sport he plays, and he can also bet on legal apps because what he did, he bet on an illegal app in Italy because Italy
yeah,
has only one app or one site that allows you to bet in Italy. Everything that you bet on an illegal app is illegal betting. But for example, because we see boxers bet on themselves, we see sportists like that they can bet on
Hmm.
themselves. But
yeah,
for example, the only sport that he cannot bet is football because he plays in that sport. Because doesn't matter if he betted on Milan or Newcastle, even if he bets on another team, he has people that he knows there, he has connection that he knows there.
Yeah.
Who would guarantee that he didn't influence that game? And this is honestly very stupid from Tonali himself,
Exactly.
because it's a stupid move. It's a stupid move. First of all, he got a good contract even at Milan. He was earning 1.5, which is not a lot, but it's not small for a 20-year-old
We
player.
would all take it. We would all love to be paid that.
Oh,
After
everyone would.
And
After
playing
that-
professional football for a big club like AC Milan. Like what?
and the thing is, he was talented. It was just a matter of time before any other big club wanted him. So
Yeah.
a future move or even a bigger salary at Milan was never in question. He was gonna get that money.
Yeah.
But now with what he did, he endangered himself. First of all, the
Yeah.
biggest punishment that should be done is on him, and him
Yeah.
to
Oh,
set
fully
an
agree.
example. But other thing, he can bet, for example, on basketball because he cannot influence basketball. He can bet on other sports, but only on a legal act. Although I
That's-
stand by that, a professional athlete should stay away from betting on sports.
Yeah,
Yeah, he can
altogether.
go.
Because here's the
Yeah,
other
he can
thing,
go.
Andon. The other thing is too is that you said basketball specifically. Let's dig into it. Antoine Griezmann likes the NBA a lot and is friends with NBA players.
Yeah,
So
he can. Yeah.
if he did an NBA bet, I think they would investigate that
I
because he is a fan of the NBA and has flown over the US and has NBA friends.
Yeah, if they found connection,
So
yeah.
it would be
But
a
if it's not
terrible
open-
idea for him to fucking do that, right?
I mean, it's stupid for any professional athlete, especially in team sports, to bet on
Exactly.
that. You don't have the need to do that. You can go gamble, you can do blackjack, poker. That's not influential on the sport. Nobody can say I set up this poker game or blackjack game or whatever. But betting on the sport that you specifically play in, especially on teams that you play in, it's very, very stupid. So
Yeah.
No, it's
I don't know
completely
what he
completely
was thinking.
ruining your career. It's going to now change every way a team is going to look at this player. So
By the way,
it-
Lewis, I don't know if Tonali can get arrested because he bet on it. I don't know if it's that deep, but I don't know. I'm not saying you're right or wrong, but I'm here to tell you I don't know.
It's not that deep for him to get arrested. It's
Yeah,
not
I
that
don't think
no,
it's
it's not a criminal charge. It's
that.
It's not a
We
criminal yet. Not a
Yeah.
criminal.
got Gio from California here, another Milan buddy of mine. What's up, Gio? What you saying, bro?
No much, Steve. Basically, what I want to say on the thing, like, I think us as Americans, we get a lot of crap, a lot of shit. But to me, the NBA, the NFL do a lot of good background checks. And I think at the end of the day, that's what they did. They know that they needed to fund a market, and they said it like, all right. And they looked at somebody's background and they didn't like what they say. They're gonna say, oh, this guy's gonna be a liability. And then when they came in with the offer, they were like, oh, even better. I'm gonna give you an example. NFL. Dez Bryant was supposed to be a top 3 pick, but in the interview and in the background, they found out that his dad, you know, he was selling candy. I'm gonna just put it like that, and that his mom was on the stroll. So what happened? He dropped down. So he was a guaranteed $60 million contract, and he dropped down to like
Dude, the guy who got
25th
drafted by the
pick.
Eagles, the defensive player, the last NFL draft, the one
Yeah.
that happened. What's his name? Defensive end, I think.
I can't really remember, but they do the background checks, and then when they see like, okay, he was supposed to go number 3, you have him on your draft board, and then that team that's highly drafted doesn't get picked by that team, then everybody opens their eye. Oh, you know what? There might be something else, and I think that's what they did. They're Americans. They said, you know what? Let's do a background check on all these people, and then they just said, you know what? This guy is the one that might have a liability.
So wait, Gio,
then-
are you saying that you think AC Milan might have known about Tonali's addiction or problem, or what?
No, I don't think they knew, but they know they got to know what player has a liability on them. and
Well,
we're selling Cub a liability. That's what is done in American sports. Like you got a shady background, they're gonna get rid of you so they don't
Well,
lose
what was
money on their
shady about
assets.
Tonali's background? Do you think that
I
like
don't know. They probably thought he was doing like going to underground stuff or something. I'm not. That's what I'm saying. Like I'm taking like my knowledge of the American, how they do a lot of background checks, and then on the players when they find out that something's no, and that they find out the players a liability, they're not gonna go high in the draft. They drop and they lose millions and millions of
but
dollars.
Gio, just going off of your point there, this easily also could have been just an inside source or outside source getting a tip. And as soon as you get a tip on something like this, you got to dive into it. So it's not even just the people doing background checks. Like I see Lewis in the comments saying every professional sport should. They 100% do, but it depends on what's given to the information for the athletes. It's if these depending on the NFL and NBA, yes, there's a lot of different stories with those athletes. So depending on their upbringing, it's also a huge thing that people look into, and these professional organizations look
college
like a lot of people look into these their backgrounds, their childhood, and all this stuff, right? So a lot of people have this information, but this easily could have been a tip from an outside source that was like, look, even if a rival fan figured out that Tonali was a better and threw this information into him in an email, and they looked into it and then bam, found it. This no one knows yet, so let's not make too many assumptions. But yes, it's a terrible thing to do for, just like what we said, the integrity of the sport. But yeah, a lot of companies around the world and a lot of organizations like this definitely do the background checks that are needed. But some of this information can't come up if it's hidden. It's hidden, and it's in the black market, and this doesn't exist.
Yeah. I agree with Doc because we were talking earlier, obviously, about it, and I was like, yeah, I don't think AC Milan. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they knew about it, just because that's the world. The world is corrupt. We do bad things as humans. We don't. We we fuck up, right? Tonali fucked up, and maybe they knew about it. I mean, that's the other thing that I can take some comfort in. We'll find out.
Another thing, they agreed bonuses on the Tonali deal. Why would you agree bonuses when you know you're never gonna get them because of this?
Right.
So that's another thing.
True.
If for example, if they knew they deserve to be punished in a way that they should be punished financially, they should pay some repercussions. But
and I'm not even worried about the dollars. I'm not even worried.
It's not about.
For me, I think if there was something about that, I would want the sport to try to have a moment where it's like, let's fucking the gambling stuff. Let's just fucking, let's really rethink it. Let's educate. I think education is the best. And it should happen regardless. It should happen regardless.
I think every club should have a rule: educate players from the lower primaveras, from 14 to 18, especially to be mandatory education, not for a lot of stuff, because there is like a stereotype for football players: they're not that smart, and what it turns out, they're not that smart, because just they focus on the ball. You have to teach them also, because not to get in these kind of troubles, because they're not just endangering themselves, they're endangering a lot of people doing that. If you just
with a lot of people's money.
No, it's not about that. If he just himself, it's not a big problem. He screwed himself. He lost some money. But in this case, it can influence Newcastle. It can influence Milan. It can influence. It will influence also Italy, because Italy is losing a very good player for a longer period of time.
I didn't even think about it selfishly, I'm a Newcastle fan, but I think about it. And
look, Steve, about the whole Paqueta deal. Remember, he was going to go to Manchester City, but I think like Bet365 or one of the betting, they sponsored West Ham, so they thought that their stock was going to go down. So they basically snitched on him, like, oh yeah, he betted on getting a yellow card in the game, and then the deal goes off.
But all this information, again, that's public information. What you were saying earlier for background checks, that this Tonali is not public information. This is him doing it with proxies and doing it with illegal apps. So again, this could easily be a source. This could easily be something like that that's just gonna now ruin his early career. But we all hope, as hopefully I can speak for everyone here. Yeah, it's terrible for his career, but hopefully he can learn from this and move forward. Because this is not going to be a simple like again, like you said, it was an addiction and an illness. This is not going to be a simple mental bypass. If you
Rehab.
run a like this is going to be, if you get a 2-year ban on your professional career, you're going to take some mental struggles, and that's what I don't want to see. And that's why these players should, like what you were saying, and they should be informed at a very young age. If you make it to this level, you cannot do X, Y, and Z. And the first one is professional or sports betting. You just not should not be there. It should be learned at a very young age. You can't do this. But
I mean, another thing, every single one of us dreams to be in a position that he is in today,
Fuck
playing
yeah.
for a big club,
Exactly.
earning millions. As football
Yes.
fans, everybody wants to one day live that. So
Yeah.
even we as fans, we are currently very irritated because it does damage on a whole new level. And one thing Tonali can do, because he's gonna get punished. Either it's gonna be 1 year or 2 years. I'm hoping it's gonna be 1 year only, because besides this, he looks like a good kid. He's not bad or something like that.
Stop.
Something
And I respect that. I respect that. He fessed up right away.
Yeah, but what he can do right now, learn from this. In that year that he is absent, give 100% in training, prepare himself, be always ready, and when he comes back next year and plays for Newcastle, to ball out, not to give 100%, to give 200, 300%,
Yeah.
and to ball out every single game until he uh, regains the respect of Newcastle and football fans alike.
Like
And that will take a lot
I
of time.
didn't lose respect for Tonali necessarily. I'm pissed at him. It's like when your dad when you were younger and you did something at school and your dad was angry at you and yelled at you a bit. He's not doing that just to be angry at you.
No, but
Just
it's
for
not
the
that.
sake of it. He loves
Steve,
you.
listen, Steve. This can impact Newcastle till the winter mercato. There are like 2 months
Ah, yeah.
of football, and this will influence Newcastle results, because having
It
a
could.
player like Tonali could help you a lot, not just for rotation, for winning
Yeah.
games as well. So on that factor, it's irritating for fans. For example, if he was still at Milan, I would be extremely pissed at him. Extremely pissed,
Oh
because
yeah.
you are losing an important player, not just for the start. You're losing important player for rotation as well. You're down one man, and one man means a lot, especially for Newcastle that plays in the Premier League, that plays a lot more games, and where the competition is on a whole different level. Especially now when Newcastle also plays the Champions League in that group that they play. So it's
Exactly.
about that, and he needs to earn that respect back. He earned a lot from the fans. So that's what
Yeah,
he needs to do if he's smart and learns from this. If not, his just career is over at 22. It's very sad for any kind of football player.
yeah, and it's a self-inflicted wound. He decided to, if his career is done and dusted from here, if it don't ever get back to it, it's all on him. He
Yeah.
did it to himself, and it's not like something understandable. It's like, dude, you decided to get into gambling when you knew, as a pro athlete, you knew that was not something, you knew that was the wrong thing to do. Not wrong in terms of morally, but like, it's not, you're not allowed to do that.
They need to do better. They need to do better though. Like, you can't
Yeah.
have gambling as your league, as a sponsor, and then tell them like, no, don't gamble. That doesn't make any sense to me.
I mean, but at the
Well,
same
Gio,
time, it's
sorry.
like, or sorry, no, you could go on, Kevin.
No,
No,
go.
but who? Sorry, I just lost my man. I just had it, but who was the? Was it Nottingham Forest that because they didn't have a shirt sponsor at the beginning of the year, they got a sports betting app, and then the EPL and the Pogmol said no, you can't do this anymore because they're trying to stop it. I think it was Paddy Power, that said like we're not allowing this. Your entire front of your shirt is a sports betting app, and we're just not going to allow that because they're trying to stop this. So there is things, and yes, we can all agree and disagree, but some of these things are really hard to stop. Again, if it's an issue.
I mean, listen.
Yeah, but
About
all
the
the
betting.
leagues gotta cancel that, man, because I think the Premier League is always the first because of the marketing. They want to look good, and that's
Yeah.
why they did it. But
Yeah, but
but at the end of the day, to me, like it's just a crazy story. But I'm telling you, I'm not trying to say that Milan doing anything, but anything could be found in this world. Like, look at the Fagioli thing. They saying that he was buying watches to give to the illegal. That's how he was doing payments. How would people know that? Because
Inside
they,
sources, like what you said earlier. Like I'm saying,
yeah,
inside sources. As soon as something's tipped off, man.
He was
Yeah,
buying
somebody that
watches.
yeah, that's how he was paying off the debt, buying watches and giving them to the debtors that he owed. Because that's how they
Damn.
wanted to receive payment.
But listen,
Only
about
somebody close in his circle gonna know that.
Yeah.
listen
Like
about
how they gonna say like I'm a better and then I'm giving out Rolex watches or whatever APs or Patek, and how they gonna know like I'm doing that?
Well,
That's
just
somebody.
and
So
another
it's
thing
just crazy.
regarding the betting sponsors. I don't think they are issuing this because, for example, even if they promote betting sponsors on the shirts, they're not promoting them for the players that play the game. They're promoting for the
no.
fan
It's
base.
for the fans.
It's
It's for the.
it's
It's
Yeah.
for
all.
the fans because
Just
also
like
the bet.
just like an alcohol sponsor or Coca-Cola or
Yes,
a Subway,
there are
McDonald's.
there are a lot of people working in the betting industry. There are a lot like a huge amount of people working and making money in the betting industry. Just because some idiot like Tonali didn't know how to follow the rules, didn't know how to do it properly, or didn't know how to not do it at all, it's not their fault. And also betting companies help invest money into football as well because
Well,
they're
look at.
investing a lot of money.
Well, going right there after your point. Just like Gio, your pictures with the AC Milan kit with the Fly Emirates on
Yeah,
it. It's the
yeah,
same exact. It's the same exact thing as these sports betting. These Fly Emirates, these Fly Air France, British Airways, all these companies are doing are trying to make tourism and flying to their countries that they exist in to make them
first.
more money. And that's exactly what sports betting is doing. And the issue is sports betting isn't going nowhere. It is not going anywhere. It's one of the biggest industries now in the world. So the
Yeah.
issue is it's the professional help, like what Andan was saying earlier. It's the young kids. If you're a professional athlete, you just can't do it. You just it's there's a big rule that you says you can't do it, and you have to follow that rule. If not, you pay repercussions.
And also as like a society too, it's like, yeah, I think in school, like Kevin, I don't ever remember in primary school growing up or elementary, middle school, they never talked about gambling addictions. They never talked about all this stuff. I feel like that should be something too, because gambling for me, like I've done it before. I fucked up and gone way too far, but I've used it responsibly before. I know how to, but you have to teach people about like practices. You have to teach people about how do you know when you went too far? How do you like educate the people? That's what I think is important, because it's just like alcohol, it's just like weed, it's just like any of this other stuff. There's a risk to it, yeah, but you can enjoy anything is fine in moderation.
Oh,
Yeah,
completely agree.
I mean, even all those vices, not just betting, any other vice, even if it's promoted, having commercials. In the end, it's up to the individual. I cannot blame
Yeah,
something on the TV a commercial. Oh, because I did it because of the commercial. No, I did it because I'm stupid. I did it because I have that vice
you
in.
did it because you lack self-control.
And that is, first of all, when we have a problem, we have to know when the problem started, and when
Yeah,
we have to learn as human beings to ask for help for it. I think we
exactly.
are, as human beings in general, we're too proud to ask for help. We think, for example, if I have a drinking or a gambling problem, if I
Yeah,
say I have that problem, it's kind of embarrassing. People we're gonna look at you at a different way. But we need to learn as a society to look at it not because they're gonna look at it a bad way. Look at it because you ask for help to get better, so you won't have that
yeah,
problem in the future. The benefit of what you're gonna ask is much bigger than what is happening right now, and that's solely individual. But also education, as you said, Steve, education at early stage of life in elementary schools, when, for example, let's say fourth, fifth or sixth grade, when you as a human understand a little more about the world,
yeah,
having this kind of classes for any kind of addiction, drug addiction, drinking addiction, criminal activity, betting, anything that is bad, drugs as well. Have it, teach it to the kids what it does, and if it still happens after that, then it's up to the individual. You cannot help somebody that
Yeah.
doesn't want help.
Yeah,
Yeah, pretty much,
fully agree.
bro. Yeah, it's fucked. But nah, I mean, I don't know. Just to kind of wrap it up. Look, I'm not mad at Tonali as a human. I'm very angry with what he did, and I'm angry because of like we've talked about. This this is an amazing career it could potentially have, and it's already been a really really good one. I'm not angry at him as a human, but yeah, I'm angry with what he did, and I hope he gets the help that he needs. I'm sure he will, because Newcastle, we have very good. We've completely restructured the club under PIF. Like, we have a very good, and we have a good locker room too of guys like Kieran Trippier, Dan Burn. We have a lot of good characters in there. Him and Isak are buddies as well. Apparently, they're they're kind of close. So Eddie Howe is also again another guy that, to me, when I
Well, Eddie Howe's a player. He's a people manager, so he knows how to. He's the same thing like every other manager that they pride themselves on, is they actually care for their players. They don't just go out there and coach. So he's going to get the help he needs. But
exactly.
it's the issue is, can he, like what and we're all saying here, is can he recover after the suspension is over? It's not about the people around him. It's the issue of his own head now is going to be the test, and it's a huge test.
Yeah. Just briefly, Vladaru, big up to yourself. At 6 a.m. in New Zealand, just woke up. What happened? Basically, Tonali, he's admitted to like betting on AC Milan games for them to win and stuff like that. So he hasn't gotten the ban yet, but I'm sure that's gonna come right around the corner. But yeah, that's basically what happened, and we're just kind of chatting about it. But yeah, it's just wicked disappointing. But he's got a good support system at Newcastle, I think. But yeah, you're right, Kevin. He's gonna have to struggle. He's gonna have to struggle, and he did it to himself. And we'll see how strong he is mentally. I think the kid's real tough. I think he's got what it takes. But
and then props to him. And if he comes back stronger than ever, it's again to like, yes, to end on a positive note is, if he comes out and he said, yes, I did it, and he gets the 2-year, 1-year, 6-month ban, whatever it is. If he comes out and then proves to his teammates and he's like, yeah, I messed up, and he's 21 years old, he has a long career ahead of him. Professional athletes now don't retire at the same year when I was growing up. Sports science. Like, but yeah, it's Lewis, the one thing he just said, if you want, Steve, you want to put that question up, or the 90% one? This is you're not able to do this due to your contract rights. Your contract is written in certain ways.
They can fine you. They can fine you
90% of your wages, so you only get 10%, but they're not able to take it away.
But I think also there is a clause in the contract for this kind of things where the club can save themselves in case that happens. Because I'm 100% sure he won't get 100% of the wages. And I think if he's man enough and admits that he made a mistake, he himself should return the money. There's no need to punish him. You just return the money. Just get what is enough to survive and what is enough to get over this problem. But everything above that, what is really necessary just for basic human needs and to function as a human being, you just return it. You're gonna show to the club, you're gonna show to the fans that you really try to go over this and improve yourself. Because on a positive note, it's good that it happened. I mean, it's not good that it happened, but it's good that it happened when he's young. He's found out early, and after this, it may be even make him an even better player than he is currently right now. He can build up a character, and for example, this doesn't mean Newcastle don't have a great player for the next 10 years after this.
Exactly, and that's why I'm not throwing baby out with the bathwater and saying, "Oh, I wish we could return him. I'm done with them." No, there's still a long road. There's still a player and a human in there that can recover and give it another go after fucking up. But they're it's not the end of the world completely. It's not the end of the world completely. He fucked up. He needs to pay the consequences for his actions, but there's still a lot of promise in the kid. There still really, really is. So
It's a 21-year-old. We've all been there before.
Yeah.
It's
bro,
the issue is there.
I don't know if I said it in that group chat, but bro, I with gambling, I've put in $15,000 when I was fucking 18 to 20. So I know what it's like, that rush, that feel. I recovered a lot of it because I was actually decent at betting, but I kept on losing $500 bets, and I think I was down like 1,500. I was like, I just gotta stop because I was negative. I was negative 200. I'm working at a fucking pizza place. I'm fucking. I have a flat tire. I can't do shit.
It's all the addiction. It's the rush, and then the rush. As soon as the rush goes away, then you're screwed. So
you're left broke. You're left broke with nothing after the rush. So that's why I was like, you know what? Maybe when I'm older, I can revisit gambling, but I gotta stop because I'm just gonna throw my life away.
But listen, that's not just with gambling. At that age, everybody does impulsive stuff that gives them rush on adrenaline. Or I also bought, for example, some stupid stuff that I never gonna use, but I bought them just because of the moment of rush. It gives me an adrenaline. And after I bought them, after a period, I said, "What a stupid thing that I wasted my money on." It's the same with gambling. It's not. He's a kid. He's still a kid. He's still young, and he can recover from this because everybody makes mistakes, and people have done a lot worse mistakes than this and come back strong, stronger. So hopefully he can do that. He can do that the same, and he needs to respect what Newcastle is doing for him and showing him support and protecting him at the best possible way, because he still hasn't given any kind of statement, anything. I think he's well advised and well protected.
Yeah. Better days are ahead. Tomorrow's a new day. That's how I look at the end of it. Like, I get out my frustrations, and I'm sure Tonali's extremely disappointed and angry and going through all sorts of things. Move forward. Tomorrow's a new day. That's all you can do. Can't just sit around and wallow in sadness and stuff. Otherwise, that's depression, bro. And that ain't good. So, but yeah. So I don't know, bro. I don't know, but yeah. But anyways, any final thoughts, guys, from you?
No, I'm all set. I think we hit every point that we planned to. So it was a pleasure.
I just hope Newcastle as a team doesn't have a very big effect on the sporting results, and I hope they can find a way how they can not replace him, but do something to cover for his absence. I know I'm 100% sure they're gonna react on the winter market. They're gonna get a player for that position because they have to. They're gonna do that. But in these 2 months, I hope Eddie Howe can find a way how either can change formation or do something with the players where he can limit the damage done by this, because Newcastle they're currently first in the group in the Champions League, which is a big achievement based on the clubs there in the group. So
the only thing they're around on is spent a lot of money already, and January is in FFP. So if they want to go big, it's
could do a loan.
Yeah, they can do a loan. But
they can ask for exception because of this, because this is not Newcastle.
Could
they can apply for an exception because of this
through FIFA or UEFA or whatever.
Well, we'll see. It's a difficult case, but
they'll figure something out.
Or also
we'll have this conversation when it comes to mid-December when they start looking. The leaks are out.
Also, this can mean somebody from the youth academy can get a chance, and Newcastle to get a new player as well. Usually in this kind of situation, in most this kind of situation, either an injury or something like this opens up a space that not so rarely happens. A new player is promoted and that player balls out, because I'm sure there's some kid in the academy that has the talent and is eager to prove himself, and this is his opportunity.
That would be Lewis Miley. He's a 17-year-old midfielder. He made his debut on the last day of the season last year in the Premier League away to Chelsea. Is Lewis Miley kid. he's one of them. Elliot Anderson's another one where it's like he had a very good loan spell at Bristol Rovers about coming up on a year and a half ago, and he's gotten into the first team and stuff like that. So we do have, and Joe Willock, also a kind of playmaker sort of guy for us. He's coming back from injury. We have Joe Ellington and Bruno G and Longstaff as well. So that's 6 already. So, we'll see how it goes. But we're a resilient team, and Eddie Howe's a character, and we've got strong, personalities and characters on the team. So yeah, it's a blow, but we'll it's just what Newcastle. We battle adversity.
What
I hope they don't, but now
they can look at this like a long-term injury and
yeah, exactly.
yeah.
Facts. But yeah. Thanks everyone for joining. Good stream.
Thanks
Good
for having me.
talking with you, Kevin. Very, very good speaking with you, bro. And Andon, of course. Really
Thank you for having me,
bro. Anyways, we got people in the comments. Good
Peace out,
stream.
everyone.
About an hour.
Soon.
But yeah, take care, everybody. And if you need help with gambling or with whatever, go get treated. Someone will help you. It's all good. Better days are ahead. Peace out, guys.
It's not shameful to ask. Bye.